Bakari Sellers, who is a CNN contributor, had this to say about the possibility, perhaps, of Kamala Harris becoming a Supreme Court justice.
Liberal. And so I hope that Joe Biden makes the next 10 weeks as consequential as he can. I don't care about drawing outside the lines or what Republicans may think about it. This is within your purview. You can actually do it, and you should do it. And, one more thing, John, is you have a hell of a vice president right there who has a legal pedigree to sit on the Supreme Court, and let Republicans go crazy and ape. I'm even mentioning that option.
That's floating? Are you floating? This is 7:39 a.m. on the East Coast. Did Bakari Sellers just float Vice President Kamala Harris as a potential Supreme Court nominee?
Not only am I floating it, but I want to stir up everything. I want people's heads to explode this morning, so we go into the weekend just knowing that the chaos has not ended just yet.
So I actually agree with him, but there's a number of things that need to happen in order for this to take place. Sotomayor, who is a Supreme Court justice, she's 70 years old, and as I mentioned before, a juvenile diabetic. And again, I think she's a wonderful woman. I hope she lives the rest of her life prosperous to 120. But we know that if you're a diabetic, your life expectancy is significantly lower. I'm not a doctor, but you can tell she's not in great physical condition. And I think of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I think of the mistake that she made. And listen, she was a hero. What a wonderful woman. But a big mistake that she made, which I think most Democrats would agree, is she didn't retire. And because of that, we're in the spot we're in now. So I think a smart thing would be for Sotomayor to step down, retire, and let Joe Biden appoint Kamala Harris to the Supreme Court. Here's what Bernie Sanders had to say about this.
Senator, quickly before I let you go, I do want to ask you about the Supreme Court. Some Democrats behind the scenes quietly talking about the possibility, should Justice Sotomayor step down, to allow President Biden to appoint someone who's younger. She's only 70 years old. Is that something that you would support? Do you think she should step down?
No, I don't.
Have you heard any talk of this?
A little bit, yes. I don't think it's a sensible approach.
And you don't think it's a sensible approach?
Correct.
Okay, so listen, I disagree with Bernie Sanders on this one. I think it is sensible. And when I look at Kamala Harris and I look at her resume, and when I think about what she's done in San Francisco, the prosecutor that she was, a senator, now a vice president, she absolutely has the experience to do so. I felt like some people were saying the same thing about Ruth Bader Ginsburg back in the day. We can't have history and this happened twice. Look back at the mistake with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who was a wonderful lady and a hero, but we go back to that point in history. Can't make the same mistake twice. So I respectfully disagree with Bernie Sanders. I agree with Bakari Sellers. I disagree with Jamal Simmons. We can't have Joe Biden step down and allow Kamala Harris to be president for a month. I think that's absurd and that's ridiculous. But the possibility, and I say possibility, the possibility of Kamala Harris becoming a Supreme Court justice is very appealing to me, and I think it would be great for her, but I also, even more importantly, it'd be great for the country.